Hey, Fanboy Nation.
This is your pal Daffy Duck, and you're watching.
We're watching Fanboy.
Fanboy, etc.
Fanboy Nation.
Dot, I assume Tom.
Casper, how's it going, my man? Great to
Good,
talk
Robert.
to you
How
about
you
Guns
doing?
of Redemption. Listen, I am fantastic. I have a little tie-in to you. I am no longer 1 degree separated from you. A buddy of mine was an extra in Starship Troopers in the classroom scene, and we harassed him for years because that was the most studious he ever was.
Me too.
Listen, congratulations on this film. Sean's character as the preacher in this, and you as Luke. I'm sorry, but the theological aspect of this was so ingrained and so accurate. I used to be a religious studies professor, so I was thrilled to see that. And then Luke's redemptive arc is extremely powerful. And there's something about the resurgence of Westerns right now that really has bringing back this notion of what it means to seek that type of redemption.
Yeah, I fell in love with the script. My favorite genre is westerns. I watch a western almost every day. It's my favorite movie. My favorite film is The Searchers. I love John Wayne, John Ford films. I love Clint Eastwood films. I love watching films with Audie Murphy and Glenn Ford and and I just love all. I love Liberty Valance. I love I love all westerns. I go back. I watch everything, and I watch them. I just go over and over different films. I love all the 310. I love both 310 to Yumas. I love True Grit. I love The Wild Bunch. I love I love Shane. I love westerns. Silverado. I'll go on and on. On. Westerns. I read this one and went, oh my God, this reminds me of all these classic westerns. This reminds me of why I love making movies. It reminds me of everything. I love riding horses. I had horses for a while. I've got to do all my own horse stunts in most of the movies I've done. And then I got to do it in this one. So for me, it was unbelievable.
Well, as much as you love those classic westerns, we love you in this one, Guns of Redemption. Your arc is Luke trying to escape his past, still being confronted by it, and then Pastor Dyer's wife on top of this. I think she has a bit of more of a redemptive arc than you do with Kim's character, because she is completely unaccepting and untrusting of you, even though she's the pastor's wife.
Yeah. All of that was interesting for me, and even the redemptive quality is one of my favorite things in a western, and was definitely my favorite thing in this. I'm glad it's in the title, even because it just meant so much to me. But also the struggle, and also that he's a Southern, a Confederate, and the war's over, and so he knew that he was the bad guy, and he also knew, and he had to be responsible for all the things he's done, which he was feeling guilty for, and then he has to go and try to find this. And I think when we're young, we make a lot of mistakes. We're full of testosterone. That's why soldiers are always brought in at, before they're 18 and everything like that. And then they'll go out and they're full of testosterone. They're easier to go in that way. And then later in life, we start challenging what we did and what we made wrong. I can only relate to that, not as a soldier, because I went to military school, but I didn't go into the military. But because I'm an alcoholic and I'm sober 30 years, I've always been on the path of trying to find myself to be a better man. And I've always found myself going to church and finding myself trying to be lead a more spiritual path and a more righteous path. And I've always wanted to become a better man. This guy has definitely got that struggle going on. And when he gets to see it in Sean Astin, who is a very righteous man and a man that you could follow. So he really fit the character well. And it was awesome to have that. I just was blown away. I just loved it. I loved every minute of making this movie. This is exactly the kind of movie I would watch over and over again. And I do watch Westerns over and over again. So this is the kind that I would. And it is one I will go out and see in the theater in Florida here where I live. When it comes out, I'll go see it in the theater because it's going to be in 5 theaters across the country. And I'm going to make sure I go and support the mom and pop theaters too, because I think it deserves it. And I think they deserve it. So.
Well, I'm huge on the mom and pop aspect of everything. I love going into a hole-in-the-wall restaurant versus a big chain. You mentioned that you've been sober for 30 years. Congratulations on that. We never want to challenge your sobriety. But how has that struggle in that aspect of your life influenced your performance of Luke? Because he's going through his own thing, that, you know, it almost becomes method acting in a sense, because you can relate, even though it's not the same identical struggle, you've had your own demons to face.
Yeah, I think that, you know, we as men, if we don't start trying to face the demons and the mistakes that we've made in our past, and if you don't, the men that say they don't have a mistake in their past, they're the men that I really steer far from, because I don't believe they're holding themselves accountable, because I think that, you know, we do learn from our mistakes, hopefully, and we do try to grow from our mistakes, hopefully. And this guy definitely is struggling with that. And when he gets to see that through, you know, Sean Astin's character telling him that he could find it, you know, you see that even when I'm in the church and I can't sing Amazing Grace at first, and then at the end I can sing it. So, you know, he gets to the point where he can find it, you know, but that struggle is real and it's raw. And for me, you know, you can have that in your, you know, in the struggle with, you know, they call it the alcoholic mind in AA. So it's not just about alcohol; it's about the crazy mind, and that's where we can think that we're a higher power. But what they tell you is just find anything that's a higher power. Just realizing that you're not the higher power. So when we start realizing that, you know, there is something out there, or there's something greater than ourselves, you know, that's where we can find it. We can find it, and they say in AA, they say find it in a righteous man. And the truly righteous man, the man that does follow the path, not somebody that speaks about it, but who's really, you know, practices what they preach. And that is, you know, that's what he has to find in this, and he finds it in this character, and it's really quite beautiful. You know, I did make the choice. I did ask them if when I get confronted with the Bible, when I'm holding the Bible, because I'm holding it to try to be this man, and then I attack him with it, that was my choice. So I have to live and die by that sword. But I haven't seen that in a movie before, but I thought I'll go for it in that one. You know, really beat the word of God into somebody.
I used to joke the only thing my mom never hit me with was the Bible, because it was too holy to strike.
Yeah, I know, and that was my choice, and that was the thing I made. But it was like, it's like he was gonna die, and that's it, you know. And I think God would forgive him in that. But then he gets shot, so maybe not. So so you have to learn with, you know, these consequences. And he kept getting more consequences. The character kept, you know, we try to find redemption, and then there'd be more consequences. You getting shot again, and again. And again, I think. So I think, you know, there was a lot that was going on in that. It was an intense script for me. It was an intense. But I really loved it, and I hope it came across as good as it felt to read and to play.
Casper, I'm going to leave you with this, since we have run out of time. Guns of Redemption comes out on March 7th, just as Lent starts. What should we look for in our own redemption? And why do we need to go see Guns of Redemption March 7th in theaters and then again on VOD?
Well, I think the redemption is an important thing. I think we should all have, you know, look for that in our life, to try to have accountability, to try to be better people, to try to follow a path that is, you know, if you believe in Christ, then, you know, to have more of a Christ-like the way of life, or if it's Buddha, then follow, you know, whatever your path is. I'm not going to judge anybody's, because their path is their own, and their own journey is their own. But in this one, you know, to find this path, to find a path to be a better person. I think that if people work on being better, then we are going to have a better world. And I hope we can get that. This character, he was led to it by a great man. Sean Astin plays a great preacher. He did a great job in that, and really loved this lock. And so I think this can lead to, you know, if you studied it and you saw this and you said that it's real. So I appreciate that. We really felt like we were being real. And I think the writer really put his words into play in this too. And I know he's a believer, so it's all good.
Well, Kieth did a great job. So congratulations on Guns of Redemption, March 7th. It's a Friday, in theaters, on VOD. Catch it both ways. Thank you so much, Casper.
Thank you so much.